Today on Budget Lawns, I want to talk about a topic that I see pop up quite a bit online this time of year, and that is overseeding a Bermuda grass lawn. So if you're thinking about doing that, you might want to watch this first. I've just about had enough of the weather this spring. We got a little bit spoiled earlier this spring with some nice warm temperatures, and the Bermuda was starting to take off. And now it has just been downright cold and wet, and the lawn is just not doing anything. I'm ready to get out in the lawn and give you folks some more action. It's coming. I appreciate you hanging in there with me and being patient. But for now, really having to dig to find content to bring for you folks. But still, I think this bit of content today is going to be very beneficial, especially for you Bermuda grass lawn owners. But before we dive into it, thank you for subscribing. If you're subscribed already, if you haven't, please think about hitting that subscription button below, as well as that thumbs up button and the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. So let's consider this scenario. Actually, let's just use my lawn as an example because I've been through it before. So it's springtime. Your Bermuda's slow coming out of dormancy. You're getting impatient. All your cool season friends online, they're already mowing like crazy. Everything looks great, and you're not quite greened up yet. Looks a little brown in spots. That's normal. That's normal for Bermuda grass. It's not really going to kick into high gear until we start seeing temperatures in the 80s and 90s and lows overnight steady in the 60s. So right now, these 40s and 50s at night and days in the 60s and 70s aren't doing us much good. So you just got to hang in there and be patient with that. But let's say, for example, that you're new construction or you're taking over a lawn that is just in really, really bad shape. And you're just getting started and it looks like there's just hardly any Bermuda grass there. Okay? That's what mine looked like when I first got started. Then you finally get some growing in, but along with that Bermuda grass is just a bunch of weeds. Clover, crabgrass, everything under the sun. Been there too. And I thought to myself, well, when I kill all these weeds off, there's going to be nothing left. It's just going to be bare. I need to overseed my Bermuda grass. I need to just put down some more seed so, you know, that stuff will germinate and fill everything in, and I'll have a nice lawn in no time. That is certainly an option for you. If you're just feeling like that's your only option, that's your last resort, I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just telling you, save your money. You don't have to. I killed off all the weeds in my lawn, and I had patchy Bermuda grass at best. And I preach it here all the time on Budget Lawns, that if you give Bermuda the basics of what it wants, it is going to pay you back tenfold. And those basics are simple. Water it properly, 1 inch a week, mow it often, and feed it. And I did those 3 things, and my patchy Bermuda grass filled in no time, and now I'm on easy street with it. Just taking care of the basics, and I've got a nice Bermuda lawn that I can be proud of, and that's really all it takes. So you may be asking, well, why can't I overseed it? If it's going to fill it in maybe a little bit faster, add to the density or make it more thick, why can't I? Well, here is one of the main reasons. There are a lot of varieties of Bermuda sod out there. Bermuda grass and seed. And it's very hard to match the variety that you already have in your lawn if you've got some to begin with. Now, you may think it's just as simple as going to the big box store and buying a bag of Bermuda grass seed and throwing it down. But what a lot of folks don't know is those are filled with different varieties from time to time. You have to check this little sticker on the back of it to see what's in that bag. And unless you know what you've already got, it's going to be really tough to make the two match and blend together. And that might not matter to you at all. You might say, that's okay, I don't care. But I can tell you from experience that I've got 2, maybe even 3 types of Bermuda in my lawn, because when I built the house, I didn't know really anything about it. And they had to do some regrading in my lawn because of poor drainage and flooding. So when they came back, they started rolling different varieties of Bermuda that I didn't have to begin with. So now I've got different types in my yard, and I can tell you one thing, I wish I only had one, because different varieties of Bermuda like to be cut differently. Common Bermuda, got to leave it just a pinch higher. The brown stalks on it are a little bit taller. So it doesn't prefer to be mowed down around a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. It would rather be at 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Where the hybrid Bermuda, it can go much lower. They also have kind of different shades of green to them as well. I can see, definite lines in my lawn where I've got the hybrid and then the common, and I wish it was all just one solid color. But what I'm trying to do is get those one to kind of overtake the other, and I think I'm starting to see the hybrids start to blend in a little bit more in that common. And I'm really having to train that common Bermuda to be mowed a lot lower than it wants to be. So if you don't have the time or the desire to mow really, really often, like 3 times a week, like I do, minimum 2, then you want to make sure you're sticking with just one variety of Bermuda in your lawn, if at all possible. Now, it is just one of those grasses that spreads so quickly. If you're just patient with it, it will take care of filling in those bare spots for you. The way Bermuda grass grows is by stolons or runners. You'll see them. They start creeping across the ground and stretching out all over the place. And they find places along those runners to root. And then you've got rhizomes underground that just keep spreading the root system out, and eventually it just takes over your entire yard. And that's why folks that don't have Bermuda grass dread seeing it creeping into their lawn, because it's not called the alpha grass for nothing. It is a dominator, and it is one heck of a booger to get rid of if you don't want it there. So if you do want it there, great news. It's going to grow and spread like crazy. So again, if you're in that position where you think you've got no other choice but to overseed your Bermuda grass lawn, double think that, second guess yourself, because I almost made that decision, and at this point in the game I would call it a mistake had I done so, because I didn't have to do it. I saved the time and the money, and I've got a great looking Bermuda lawn to boot. Win-win all the way around. All right, my friends, let's keep our fingers crossed for some warm, sunny weather in the immediate forecast so that Bermuda grass will start taking off for us and we can really get this season cranking into high gear. But until then, I barely got this video in from a toddler right inside the door, screaming her lungs out. So I better go check on that little one. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next edition of Budget Lawns coming up very soon. Take care.